All right, we're here with Alvaro Torres of Khiron Life Sciences. Thanks for coming in the studio today.
Thank you, Evan. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So let's start, I think, for investors who aren't really familiar with Khiron, why don't we start with an overview of your operations? Because obviously you're in a lot of different countries, different continents.
Yes.
So just help investors understand the scale of Khiron's businesses.
Okay, so we started this company with the idea that Latin America can be a very good market for cannabis, because we have to import opiates, because it's very expensive for the health system, and because we can grow it very cheaply, because we have
Of course.
the perfect conditions. It started with Colombia. I'm Colombian, and we started a company in Colombia. But there were two theories there are two theories about how to get into cannabis, right?
Yeah.
So one is low cost cultivation, 25 cents a gram, and then export it to Canada or the States or wherever. Or the other one, which was what we wanted to do, was develop a domestic market.
Yeah.
Because as a Colombian, I always said, I'm tired of selling coffee at 80 cents a pound, which is what we do. And then Starbucks opens up a new shop next to my house and sells the same coffee for $4.
Yeah.
And then Nespresso comes up with the $150 machine where you actually have to make your own coffee.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to be the
So you want to be the
Colombian
brand.
coffee, exactly, because that's more sustainable.
Yeah. Well, that's where the money is
Exactly.
as well, right? You make your margins.
And I think also in the fight of low cost,
Yeah.
you have Brazil, you have Mexico. There's a lot of countries in Latam that can grow this stuff, and in the equator, you could go to Asia. And if you're fighting that fight of the lowest cost, then you always have diminishing returns.
And you're not going to have that quality, and it's
Exactly.
just going to be an oversupply. And
Of course, it's a little bit more difficult to do what I want to do, because it's a brand and you have to go there and educate. But we have 50 million people in Colombia. We have 620 million people in Latam.
Right.
There's 75 million potential patients. Each one spending, let's say, $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's a tremendous business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we want to focus on. And when you think about Khiron, it's about building a B2C company in that market, which is, I think, bigger than Canada.
And so what is your leading brand then right now?
So we have, let's say, 4 different divisions to the company.
Yeah.
So I would start with the medical pharma, which is the Khiron brand.
Yeah.
Khiron is the name of the centaur that taught Hercules medicine in ancient Greece.
Okay.
So it's the patron saint of pharmacies. That's why we named the company Khiron. So that's our pharma product, which right now we're finished all the facilities, the construction, that's all done. And we're waiting for the government of Colombia to give us the authorization to start selling, hopefully by the end of this quarter. Oh, next quarter, sorry.
Of next quarter, okay.
And from then we'll start selling the pharma as a medical cannabis. We have our other division, which is the clinics. So Khiron owns our own clinics. We have one clinic with 2 locations with 120,000 patients. These are neurological patients, so these are chronic pain, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis. And from that patient population, we're going to start selling medical cannabis to those patients.
And on those services, you're looking at that as more customer acquisition. So you bring in people so that you could sell them products down the line. That's not the main revenue source of the future for Khiron.
Well, it's a service, right? So clinics are let's say a difficult business, but once you get it going, it's our average margin. But what's really behind it is the patients, right? Because with those patients, you can create new products, you can develop a new research, and you can, that's your base for patients. So those 120,000 patients, which generate, let's say, $11 million of service revenues, they can generate 35 to 40 in cannabis products. Then we have our cosmetic division, which is called Cuida. It's the first ever CBD cosmetic to be sold in Colombia. Legally.
There you go. Congratulations.
Legally. And
well, and I believe you're going to be soon to be the first legal cannabis product from Colombia in the U.S. as well.
That's our
Dixie
plan.
partnership.
That's our plan with the Dixie partnership. We've already gone through all the TSX approvals. I think you saw maybe some of that in the news. And we're just working on the logistics, on port, import, export, all of that. We're looking for the States, and we're looking for UK and Europe. So if we can do that, we'll be the first cannabis brand out of Colombia and so be sold outside. No?
Yeah, that's a feat. That's excellent, right? Writing a new path forward. And so what does that partnership with Dixie look like, and what does that rollout look like, timelines, size?
So when we launched Cuida, Cuida is a product that we developed on our own. We have 4 chemical pharmacists, very good, PhDs and such. But then you start thinking about product and pipeline development. And then you start getting in the mindset, if you want to be a B2C company, this is no longer about how much you can grow. It's about how much shelf space you're going to have. Because your fight is not against other cannabis companies, to be real. Your fight is against Neutrogena and against Procter & Gamble. And
Right.
those are the guys that dominate the shelf.
Right.
To be able to do that, you need to have more SKUs. So thinking about that and going to the States where most of the products are being done,
Yeah.
sold. We met Dixie. We liked a lot what they were doing with the drinks and food, award-winning type of products. We liked a lot what they were doing with therapies, the pet product, and Accesso, which is sort of supplements.
Yeah.
And then the partnership said, why don't you help us take the Quid into the States?
Yeah, and you'll
then we'll bring all of these formulations to LATAM. So now we can have the conversations with retailers and talk about a new category, which will be CBD.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about cosmetics, and you're talking about pets, and you're talking about supplements.
Yeah.
Now that what we've been doing all this year is to go through every single authority from Mexico to Argentina, try to educate them on what therapies is, what Accesso supplement is, food and beverages. And I think all the work that we've been doing this year and what we will continue to do will allow us to start rolling that out, hopefully by the first quarter of next year. Not in every country at the same time, but let's say, for example, pets in Mexico looks like something that's going to be faster than supplements in Chile.
Yeah,
but I think the beauty of our operations, because we're dealing with 12 different countries at the same time, so you can have the opportunity to launch different types of products in every market.
Yeah.
And the faster we can do it, I think the better we can have that upper hand with the retailers, which I think is really what we want to do from the beginning.
And then you're going to just start showing that significant revenue growth over the
Well, it's all about revenue now, right?
2020, right? That's what you're seeing investors want, right? They're not satisfied with growth plans anymore. They're looking for that execution.
Yes.
And you guys seem to be on the precipice of, really demonstrating that with some
We're
of the
really focused on
pieces you
that.
have in place. Yeah.
When I started the company 2.5 years ago, it was all about PowerPoints, right? And I don't think that's what investors want. Investors want actually all these promises. How can they turn into business? So that's also why the clinic was so important. So we can start also generating revenue and start showing our investors, there's somewhere there behind it. But we have to do a lot of execution.
And you build your customer base so that way once you do get those approvals from the Colombian government, you just hit the ground running. You generate that revenue. So can you provide any guidance on, say, revenues or how you see those growing over the next couple of quarters or even 2020?
Well, we don't give guidances ourselves, but I think what we've worked very hard is to get in line with analysts.
Yeah.
So right now we have 3 coverages.
And they're all buys, I believe.
Yes, all buys, $4, $5, and $6, which is great. Particularly Canacor and Altacorp here in Canada. We have another analyst in Europe. So if you look at what they're thinking about, they're looking at revenues of $35 million next year.
Wow, okay.
For 2020, particularly mostly in Colombia and Mexico.
Yeah.
So even though we don't give the guidance, what we do is have a lot of conversations with the analysts so that they understand our business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all of that information is publicly available, but we're very comfortable with the numbers that are out there because I think that, as you said, once the market allows us to start selling and what we build in terms of demand, it's just going to take off.
No, that's excellent. And so, I think those are some solid numbers. And if you have all of your analysts as a buy, especially upwards, I believe it's trading at about $1.60 right now. So those are big growth numbers for the next coming.
Yes, well, we've been doing this with Canacor for many months. We've been doing it with Altacorp and educating them and taking them to Colombia and to Mexico to understand what's really going to happen. The summer is always tough, but there's a lot of upside because we're actually building a real business. This is not about just how much cannabis can I sell and grow, because you can cultivate as much as you want.
But if you're not going to be able to get it moved,
there's no demand.
And you're seeing that, I think, with some of the larger LPs in Canada too. You want to see that quality brand, not the conveyor belt cannabis, but the cannabis that the consumers actually like, that premium.
That's
status.
Sustainable, no?
Yeah, and that's how you build a sustainable business.
Just product.
That's exactly it. Well, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate chatting, and good luck for the next coming quarters.
Thank you. Appreciate it.